not misogyny.
Well, that's misogyny.
No, it's not.
Oh, being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Not one.
What? Bruh.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Freddie from Draft Nights, back with another episode for you today. And today we're going to talk about the Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate kind of conversation, debate, back and forth. They had a little banter and stuff like that. So, and what happened was Andrew Tate was invited on Piers Morgan's show, and they had a conversation about everything Andrew Tate has said over the internet that made him, blow up, right? So let's get into it.
Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, one of the most infamous men in the world, Andrew Tate's misogynistic tirades have been viewed billions of times online. He's now been effectively banned, though, from the internet. He doesn't think that's fair. Tonight, I'm going to try and work...
Look at Andrew's face right here. He's just like dead serious.
...out of it is.
From London, this is Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Well, good evening from London and welcome to a special edition of Piers Morgan Uncensored. Andrew.
I haven't noticed that Piers Morgan doesn't have any lips, bro. And his nose is slightly crooked, bro. Look at this. Whoa. Well, hold on. His nose is going this way, but his mouth is going this way. What's up? What's up with that? Alright, you shouldn't make fun of people's lips. I'm sorry, but it's just hard to not notice.
Tate, one-on-one.
Piers Morgan doesn't have any lips. I'm sorry.
He's the most famous man you probably never heard of, with billions of views online. At one point this year, more people were searching Google for Andrew Tate than Donald Trump or Kim Kardashian. Former professional kickboxer, he was kicked off Big Brother in 2016 after a video emerged of him striking a woman, what they now both claim was a consensual sex game. He's since made millions as a pornographer and casino owner in Romania, but it's his online videos that have made him notorious across the world, posing as a playboy with fast cars, cigars, weapons and cash. He rants about his often scandalous views on women.
Or instruct a female.
Let me just say this, right? If you're not trying to make Andrew Tate look good, this intro makes him look really good. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Female to provide sustenance. Cook.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes.
Tells young men they can get as rich as him by paying for his digital life lessons.
I have 100 business tips I'm going to teach you, which will allow you to make your own money instantly.
Instantly though, bro. Instantly. Come on.
But amid a global media backlash, the net has closed on Andrew Tate. While millions still share his videos, he's effectively banned from the web, booted off Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. To his fans, he's a misunderstood satirist and the victim of big tech censorship. To many others, he's a malicious misogynist. Tonight, I'll try and get to the truth. Well, some of the opinions Andrew Tate shares in his videos are undeniably deeply offensive. We're going to show you some of them on this show. I think you should see them for yourself, not simply hear what he says about them or what other people say about them. Tens of millions of people across the world follow Andrew Tate, and with a big following comes a big responsibility, as well as a public interest in holding his views to account. If outrageous opinions are read aloud, they can be challenged and exposed for what they are. If they're silenced, the person holding these views can become a martyr. So that's why I invited Andrew Tate to come here tonight, and he joins me now live. So Andrew, well, welcome, first of all. You come all the way from Romania to do this interview.
Correct.
What do you hope to achieve from this interview? Why are you here?
It'd be interesting to have a conversation.
Why are you here? Didn't you invite him onto your show? Did he just... What?
With you. You've certainly been the subject of your own divided opinions in the world. There's a lot of people who would say some of the things you say are perhaps dangerous or toxic. So I thought you'd be a good person to speak to about this subject.
I didn't know much about you before this year.
We shall see, Andrew. We shall most certainly see.
And then I suddenly became very aware of you, as the world did, because, as I said earlier,
Smiling now, that smile's gonna go away pretty soon. I think.
You were the #1 subject searched on Google ahead of Donald Trump. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was even possible. Why did you get suddenly so popular stroke infamous, do you think?
I exploded. I certainly didn't do that with magic. I've been on the internet for a very long time. I think in the world we live in now, as the other side, the people who disagree with me, as they get more and more tyrannical in their censorships and their hate mobs, etc., as standard masculine practices are deemed toxic, I didn't put a magic spell on everybody. I managed to accumulate a large amount of affinity with the male populace across the Western world because I'm simply saying things that many men believe, think, and feel.
The problem I would say is, I want to play you just a clip off the top. This is from Joe Rogan, who's somebody I absolutely love.
Sure.
And I think it explains to me what I presume.
That's news to me. Piers Morgan, I absolutely love Joe Rogan. That's interesting. I wonder if he ever came onto a show.
My issue with you is going to be, right?
Correct.
And you
All right,
you have absolutely got the right to try and persuade me otherwise.
Sure.
But Joe Rogan said this about you.
Absolutely have the right to persuade me otherwise. Yeah, I'm sure Andrew intends to, Piers. I'm sure he intends to. Good sir.
My 12-year-old and my 14-year-old asked me about Andrew Tate.
And
My
what'd you say?
14-year-old
What'd you
asked
say?
me, I said he's a legit world champion kickboxer. I go, I like him a lot. Why do you like him? And I was asking him. They said he says a lot of funny stuff on Twitter and TikTok. He f***ed up with the misogynist stuff.
Yes.
Because if he didn't do that, if he just did the pro-male stuff.
So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, damn. Let Joe go for a little bit longer, damn.
Interesting, because when I've gone over everything that's been at the centre of the debate about Andrew Tate, I come down with Joe Rogan.
Have you really gone over everything, or you have people go over everything? Come on.
In the sense that there's a lot of stuff you say I agree with. You know, I've got 3 sons in their 20s. It's not easy, actually, being a young male in the modern world. And I think a lot of the things that you say about that can resonate with them. The problem comes with the, I don't know, 10, 20% or whatever of your output, which on the face of it appears to be blatant misogyny. And when you couple that with your massive influence and huge reach, that is why the social media companies have decided to effectively cancel you. I don't believe in cancellation. I don't believe in censorship particularly. That's why I've invited you to come on the show. But I do think...
Oh, that's why you invited him to come on your show. So I was right earlier, right? I was right earlier. Piers Morgan invited Andrew Tate. It wasn't Andrew Tate asking him to come on Piers Morgan's show.
A lot of the things you've said are blatant misogyny. Do you accept that?
So you made a very interesting point there. You just said on the face of it appeared to be blatantly misogynistic. I understand that on the face of some of the long format content I've made, if you're going to take a few seconds out of hours, chop it up, put it all over social media, accompanied with my massive fame, then things can absolutely not be taken out of context. I do not hate women in any regard. I have no negative relationship with women. No women have come forward saying I've hurt them. I have no criminal record for hurting women. There's no way I can be seen as the face or the devil in regards to how men treat women on the planet. I'm absolutely and utterly the opposite. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. There's been large contingents of people who have tried very hard to purport lies about me. And the truth of the matter is, I've been producing content for a very long time. Hours and hours of videos been cut down to 2 or 3 seconds of clip. Those clips have gone viral and people misunderstand me.
But I think you've used this phrase of being taken out of context, and I'm not sure that is correct in the sense that it still comes out of your mouth. And some of the things
Completely.
Some of the things you've said.
It still comes out of your mouth. Yeah. That's what happens when we get pulled out of context, Piers. Something comes out of my mouth. Instead of the full context, you get a little snippet. Now you get me out of context. That's how it works. What are you talking about, Piers?
I just think are blatantly.
Well, let's do them. Let's hear them.
Let's go through some.
Sure.
Right. So you said this about Me Too stroke rape. This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania. In Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. You go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988. They'll say, well, you should have done something about it back then.
Yeah, so the point...
Yeah, I mean, I think statutes of limitations should be a thing. If I steal something because I'm hungry or I really needed it, right? If I steal some food in freaking 1975, and then my life changes, become active in my community, I do community service, I do X, Y, and Z. But also, I never got caught for stealing whatever I stole back in 1975. Then it's 2015. Should the cops come up to me and put me away to jail if I have a wife, family, kids, got a career, got my life in order, got a house and everything like that, health insurance, whatever? Should the cops now come to me and arrest me for something I did like over 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? It's not right. I don't believe it's right, especially if you did things to better your life or you didn't harm anybody else or anything like that. I mean, that's just my view. If you disagree or agree, leave a comment down below.
The point I was making was obviously at the height of the Me Too scandal, and also if we look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, there's been a lot of high-profile cases where men have been accused of things they did not do without evidence, and their lives have been completely and utterly destroyed.
Right.
When I say...
Emmett Till, that's what I gotta say. Emmett Till. If you don't know who Emmett Till is, I would say Google it, and you'll know.
These things, people sit and say that, oh, he hates women. I don't hate women. I think rape is disgusting. I would take a stronger stance on rape than the British government. I think these people should face the death penalty. But to sit and say that women without evidence can go forward and just make up accusations against men, even though they've been repeatedly proven to destroy men's lives at will, is absolutely not.
What about a woman who was raped back in 1988 and goes to the police?
Then
What about a woman who was raped back in 1988? Okay. Statute of limitations, bro.
the man should face absolute and complete justice.
But do you understand that when that clip appears on TikTok as a clip, and all right,
as a clip, completely.
Okay, but it's still something that came out of your mouth. Do you accept that when?
Come on, still something that came out of your mouth. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Should just the internet make clips of Piers Morgan saying a whole bunch of different stuff and just put it out there on the internet? Should we do that? Should we do that? Just get him in a long form, right? And one of his interviews, clip it up, right? And then put it all together in such a way that it makes it looks like he's saying something bad. Should we do that? No, but yeah, he doesn't understand that, apparently.
When that appears on TikTok, a lot of young, maybe not as smart as you, young men, right? Impressionable, teenagers, will read that and go, what's he saying here? Is he saying that rape doesn't exist?
No, I completely. I'm not going to sit here as a professor.
Talk about grasping at straws. He's saying rape doesn't exist. Come on, bro. Jesus Christ. How dumb do you think his audience is? So there's gonna be are there really young men out here saying rape doesn't exist? Really? For real? Wow.
Professional and say that I can't be taken out of context. What I will say is that one small sentence you've taken was from a 1-hour video where I explained that, of course, rape is disgusting. Of course, everybody should be punished for their crimes regardless of when they happen. But people are not perfect, male and female. And if you give women the opportunity to destroy men's lives without evidence, there's going to be a contingent of women who will do that. I'm trying to make a balanced and nuanced argument in a world where people have no attention span. They're going to take a few seconds, put it online, decide someone's good or bad, not be interested in the longer format video. And here I am. No, I'm certainly a person who takes personal responsibility. That's who I am as a person. But we live in a world now with TikTok videos 5 or 6 seconds long. There's no content.
Do you think women are the property of men?
No. The point I was making.
Why have you said they are?
Because I made a religious point. I said that when a man marries a woman, the woman's father walks her down the aisle, and hands her away to the man. Traditionally, this is what it says in the Bible. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. I live in the most religious country in the world.
So you do think that the woman becomes the men?
I think she takes his last name.
I mean, let's watch the clip that you said about it,
sure,
so that we can get it in context.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom. The father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Absolutely.
Well, everything you're saying is true, right? But as far as property, I think people don't like that word as property because humans shouldn't see other humans as property, right? But let's look at the Bible, right? Let's look at the Bible quote. Let's see if we can find women, wives, are husbands. Let's see if we can find it, right? We can't find it. Wives are husband's property. We can't find that. Okay? So let's see what we can find. Different types of human property. While all slaves, biblically speaking, would be considered human property unless they were a fellow Hebrew male, and then only seen as a temporary hired worker. Not all of those who are considered human property were slaves. A wife, while her husband's property, is not his slave. A child, while is the human property of his father, is not a slave. Even though wives and children were also considered human property, they had the same human rights as slaves, and then even more rights. Interesting. Listen, the Bible gives an example of this difference of rights between those who were considered human property, while it shows in Exodus 21, 9 through 11, when a man gives his female slave to his son as a wife. Interesting. The Bible states that she must be given the full rights of a daughter and a wife, even though she remained human property. All right. Let's go back to the video.
But I've been married twice, as it turns out, and on both occasions I didn't believe that the woman was being handed to me as chattel, as property.
Perhaps the way the reason I'm asked that question repeatedly, and I'm asked in a loaded way.
So would you rephrase what you said there?
Now, that's an interesting point about phrasing. The way I would say things before I was famous, I have to take personal responsibility and accept that if I make a video that 500 people see and 1% of them misunderstand it, that's not a problem. If I make a video that 5 million people see and 1% of them understand.
So specifically on that point, I think my sister is her husband's property.
She took his last name. She married him. She wanted to join his family. She has said it herself.
Right. So
I think a better ways to rephrase it would just be like, all right. I mean, he could have been like, all right. So my sister belongs to her husband. Like, how about that? Belongs. That's his wife. You feel me? Belong. I think the word instead of owns or the property is like, oh, this belongs to me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I really think it's semantics, but I guess he could turn away from me and be like, all right, I should have said belongs instead of property. It's the same thing, but
she's still a sovereign individual. She's absolutely not a sovereign individual.
Property means that the husband owns your sister.
Listen, my friend, if we want to argue about this, we need to go back to the Bible, to the Quran. You need to argue with religious.
No, I'm not talking about anything in the Bible or Quran.
But that's what it says.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I think that
he's been saying it all this time. He believes in what the Quran and the Bible says about marriage, and to him, this is what it says. And that's it. So I understand, Piers. You're not listening to him. That's what I feel.
If a woman marries a man and she decides to take his last name, that they have different roles and responsibilities within that marriage, and I believe that.
That's not the question.
I believe the father.
What the? How is that not the question? He's answering the question. What are you talking about, Piers?
I am. The father hands her.
Don't behave like a politician.
The father hands her.
Behave like a politician. But how about behave like a better interviewer and listen to what he has to say?
To the man.
Right, but don't be a politician, because I think you're a straight talker,
Sure.
right? You keep telling me you're a straight talker. I think my sister is her husband's property. Do you regret saying it like that?
I understand.
Do you agree saying it like that? Because I guess you could say maybe I could have switched it from property to belong. He could say that. I would say, I would agree with that.
Understand that with my newfound fame, perhaps it could be phrased differently. However, I still believe that a woman is given to the man in marriage. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but not as property.
No, the property is the word that other people use when they ask me the question.
But as an equal partner in a loving union. That's what marriage actually.
Equal partner in a loving union. Do you believe marriage is equal partnership? Or is one given more than the other? Right? Do you think marriage is equal? That's the kind of question. Do you believe marriage is equal?
Means. It doesn't mean that when you get married, the woman is given to you as a bit of chattel.
Agreed.
So why say it?
But that's the way that people ask me the question. People say to me, they ask the
Oh,
question.
hang on. You can't blame people for asking you questions. Surely, if you want to be...
Blame people for how they ask the question, not for asking the question. It's how they phrase the question to him. You know what I'm saying?
accountable for what
Sure.
you've said. You've got to own your responses, not blame the question.
I own the response.
Be like me asking you a question now and you say something and then say, well, actually, I blame you for asking.
I understand, Piers. Piers, I understand. I believe the woman is given to the man. I believe she's given away by the father. I believe she belongs to the man.
So you
she
do,
belongs to
so
the man.
fundamentally, all right. So
Oh, you see? Oh, he said exactly what I said. She belongs to the man. She belongs to her husband. You see that? Damn. I didn't see this whole thing yet.
fundamentally, you do believe that a woman becomes a man's property at
I
marriage.
believe she belongs to the man in marriage, correct?
Right.
There you go.
Oh, you see, that to me is misogyny.
And you're
Because your wife belongs to you. That's misogyny. Wow. Okay.
entitled to your opinion.
Right. But do you not understand why people think it is misogyny?
I understand
Because they don't.
why some people can be very offended by what I say. What they do is they take a point like that and they ignore all the other points I make the other way around.
Yeah, but that's why I've repeatedly asked you about that line to see if you've changed your position. But the reality is you haven't.
It's not about changing positions. I'm a full-grown adult and I stick by the things I say and I'm responsible for them.
Which, by the way, is fine.
Absolutely.
But what you did say at the start of...
Is it fine, Piers? Don't seem like it's fine. We got a little bit more left and then we're going to wrap this up.
this little exchange, you said, you know, I wouldn't maybe say things the same way now that I did before I was famous. And yet, actually, you've doubled down and said exactly the same thing.
On certain points.
So that is what you believe. And that's my point.
Piers is... You guys noticing that Piers is interrupting Andrew a lot? Or is it just me? Am I tripping?
Yes.
I'm trying to work out, look, I don't know.
God damn.
We've
Correct.
just met, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out who Andrew Tate is and what you actually believe.
I
don't want to...
Well, then let him answer the question. Jesus Christ. He just tried to talk right now. You saw it. He just tried to talk right now. And Piers wouldn't let him talk.
twist
I will go
anything at
back.
all.
Then let me make it very, very clear to the camera. I believe a woman is given to the man in marriage. I believe that. I also believe a man has a duty to protect and provide for her. I believe a man should lay down his life if something happens or his wife's life is threatened. I believe that women and children first are on the lifeboats.
But men...
I believe that men...
But a man doesn't own a woman.
It's not... No, it's...
Unless
Okay.
they literally buy them as a slave.
Well, obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about religious, biblical marriage. We're talking about something else.
Yeah, but I'm a Christian. I don't believe that I own my wife.
Do you believe your wife was given away to you when she took your last name?
I believe that there is a process where a father traditionally walks his daughter down the aisle and hands his daughter to this man, and they stand there and become a union of two loving
we
people
agree.
in a partnership. No, there's no ownership involved.
I didn't say
He's not selling her. He's the father of the bride.
Yeah, Andrew never said about ownership. Not said.
Bride isn't selling his daughter.
No, absolutely.
That's
But
what property means. It's
She
not-
becomes a
it's not
member
like
of
a
your
house,
family.
is it?
I think we're arguing over semantics.
We're not, though, because fundamentally, I don't believe a man owns a woman. You do.
Well, I don't think a man... owns any sovereign individual. I don't think we live in the world of slavery. I don't own any man or any woman.
Right.
Nobody owns
But when you
anybody.
use phrases like property, that's what you imply. That's
You see, that's what you imply, like property. What about if he uses the word belongs? Is that the same thing as property? Right? Because we could Google it right now. We're going to Google this right now. Merriam, what's that? Dictionary. Okay. Belong, the word belong is a verb. Belonged, belonging, belongs. Alright. To be suitable, appropriate, or adventurous. Advantageous. Sorry about that. A dictionary belongs in every home. To be in a proper situation. A man of his ability belongs in teaching. To be the property of a person or thing. So you want to use the word belong instead of property. Used with to. The book belongs to me. A wife belongs to her husband. It's good stuff. And that is it for today, guys. 30-minute episode. What are your guys' thoughts, man? Does a wife belong to her husband? Yes or no? You tell me in the comment section. Till next time, guys. Peace.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.